Hello, welcome to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network, and you're listening to Date the Right One, and I am Cece Shatz, the Doyenne of relationship building, and I want to thank you for joining us here tonight. We've got a really great show with that's planned for you here, and I'm so excited about it because I love to talk about Date the Right One. I get asked all the time, am I dating the right one? Am I doing the right stuff on dating? Am I going to meet the one? Well, what I'm going to tell you is that you most certainly can. And what can help you is our wonderful sponsors. We have a couple great sponsors here, and one of them is Going Solo Community, which is a brand new singles community out where you can connect with other singles and really start moving through your life, planning the life that you want and creating, that special feeling from within, which will raise your vibration. So when you decide to start dating, you go to meettherightone.com, which is a very unique dating community where you can really be in touch with other like-minded individuals that will, just pull you through, help you as you move forward in your journey of meeting the right one. So just check those out, meettherightone.com and goingsolocommunity.com. We're having a little bit of problem with technology here tonight, so I hope you guys are all seeing us. We are live on Facebook, WGSN-DB Going Solo Network Facebook and YouTube channel, and then also my personal Facebook channel, and maybe some of the other ones out there. So if you're not seeing me, I apologize, but sometimes that's the way it is. We just have to roll with the punches. But we're going to talk about some exciting information tonight. We're going to talk about 9 things that will happen when you meet the right one. So, it's a really touchy subject for many because as we move forward, especially from a relationship loss into that transition of dating, and we want to get out there and meet the right one, we struggle with it sometimes. Sometimes we're with the right one and we have no idea that we are because we let all that baggage from behind, from our past catch up and put us into this mode of wondering, am I doing the right thing? Am I with the right one? Well, we're going to talk about 9 things that will happen when you do meet the right one. And I've got a bonus at the end. So I want you to stick around all the way to the end. This show's about 40 minutes long. And I know that you can do that with me. So hang in there and we'll talk about some of those things. But let's get started on the very first thing. So you think you might have met the right one, right? And as you're moving through your life, you're wondering, what am I going to do here? And so often as we're meeting the right one, we want to still create, and still have our security of being single, right? We hate to kind of give that up because we're afraid that if we put both feet in, we're going to lose something, maybe a part of ourselves, right? But the reality is that we do have to have that space as we're dating, right? As we're moving through. So let's say you've met the right person and you're starting to get together and you're seeing each other often and you find that you really like to be together. But the reality is, if you spend a little time apart, and you realize that you truly want to be with that person, that you think of that person often, that really your space is filled with that person, that's a sign that you've met the right one. It's a sign that you actually want to spend your time with them. And so often, if we're apart and we don't feel that way, then maybe you haven't met the right one, or maybe you're not ready, right, for that next step into a relationship. So those are kind of a nice gauge for you to be able to see. So if you find that you're always thinking about that other person, that you really love being in their presence, you love being with them all the time, then the chances are you might have met the right one that you want to spend your time with. And so nothing better than to spend time with someone else. You still want to create your own boundaries. You still want to create your own space. But coming together when you feel really good about it, that you feel secure about that those are a sign that you have met the right person in your life. So you definitely want to grasp that and understand that you're both willing to introduce each other to your family, to your significant members of your family or your significant friends. You want to make sure that, you find yourself kind of proud of being with that other person, right? You find yourself that you want to kind of show them off, and you want to let the whole world know you're with that person. And that's a really great sign that that person feels that way about you and you feel that way about the other person. Can you imagine being with someone that you don't want to show anyone who you're with? I mean, I would think that, what is that? There's like a movie or something that they want to shout it from the rooftops that I'm with such and such, right? That's what we got Facebook for. We can do it on Facebook. But the reality is that you want to do it, right? You want to share this other person because you find them so interesting, so fascinating, and you're starting to kind of grow on them, right? And or they're growing on you, and so you want to share that with your friends and family. And when you do that, it also kind of keeps you in check a little bit. What do your friends and family think about them? But now don't step back from that, because if your friends and family are taking a step back, there could be many, many reasons why. And so you want to ask those questions as to why they may be stepping back from this person that you're very excited about. And some of it is just change. Some of it is just the reality that your life is shifting into a new zone, right? Into a new platform. And so you don't want to take all of that to heart, because you want your true feelings to come out. But the excitement of sharing that person with someone else, someone in your family or in your friend zone that's important to you, is a true sign that you've met the right one. And so I think that's really interesting, and it's an exciting place to be indeed. And then the next one is starting to compromise, right? You have that give and take. You have that banter going back and forth. I call it a bit of a dance, right? When you're dating, you've got this kind of dance going on that you have to start going through. But the reality is that when you've met the right one, it doesn't seem and it doesn't feel like you're giving up something, right? It feels like you start to have this feeling for someone else, that you want the best for them. And so you don't mind actually making some concessions along the way. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't have boundaries. We should all, men and women, all of us should have boundaries, that certain things that are important to us, respectfulness, things like that, things that are non-negotiable for you. You want to keep those in place. But the reality is like, does it really matter what restaurant you go to? Hey, they've got the craving for whatever. Yeah. I mean, that's not a big deal, right? Not everything has to be your way. And I find it over and over again. It seems like the older we are, the more difficult that is, right? Because we get set in our ways. I'm right there with you guys, right? I kind of like these certain TV shows and things like that I like to watch, right? Guys don't usually like to watch some of the things that I like to watch. And when he'll say, okay, yeah, let's go ahead and watch that, let's go ahead and do that, I start thinking, wow, check this out, because that's kind of, it's not like it's important to me, but it's something that I truly enjoy doing. And so, if he's willing to say, okay, I can gut it up for an hour and watch this show with you, and then you say the same thing, it's like, okay, all right, we're going to watch the shoot 'em up, bang, bang show. And, I'll just cover my eyes half the show, plug my ears. But the reality is you want to make your partner happy. And when you find that you're doing these things, you're making these compromises that's really in the interest of someone that you care about, ding ding, that's what it means, right? The bells start going off. You start realizing that you're with this other person, and what makes them happy, their needs, their desires, and what makes them happy is important to you. And so it's not like you're giving up something, it's like you're embracing something new. And when that starts happening, guess what? You've met the right one. And so I think that's really exciting. It's an exciting place to be at. And along the way, I was just thinking about this. Along the way, you're probably learning something very different about yourself, about their interests as they're moving forward. And you're really starting to embrace not only a new life, right, but their life. And so that's really important as we're moving forward into dating and meeting the right one, being with someone, thinking that we're going to be with someone longer than dinner. So I think that's probably an important thing. The other thing is, if you're willing to let go, let's say, you're with somebody, you met somebody, and then you realize that maybe you're not the right person for them, or something has happened within the relationship that isn't quite gelling for you, that you're willing to stand up and say, hey, this isn't working for me, and you're willing to let it go. Or you're saying, I don't think I'm the right one for you, and you're putting that other person best interest at heart, right? So you might have very well met the right one by allowing that space of time, allowing that moment of allowing yourself to be able to step back and keep your boundaries in place, do it in a respectful way, allowing that to let go. You ever heard that, where you let it go? If you let something go, if it's really meant to be, it'll come back to you. That's kind of what that is. If you let that person go, if they're not quite right for you, or the timing isn't right. We don't talk about that a lot in relationships. We meet a lot of wonderful people, right? I've met a lot of people that I think could have been, maybe very well, a good partner for me, but the timing wasn't right. I wasn't ready for it, or maybe they weren't ready for it, right? So sometimes if we step back a little bit and we keep our boundaries in check, we keep things that are truly important to us. And I'm not talking about little things, I'm talking about big things, right? But sometimes when we step back and we realize that the timing isn't quite right, and we kind of let it go a little bit, sometimes that will resurface, and we start thinking about what is important, what that other person has that they could bring to the relationship, right? And so that's what's very important. So you want to think about that as you're trying to build a relationship. So often, well, I want to save this for the last, so I'm not going to give it to you now. I was going to give it to you, but I'm not going to give it to you now. I'm going to make you wait for it to the end. I'm going to make you wait for it to the end. We're probably going to wrap this show up a little bit earlier. Now, as we're dating, often we don't keep realistic expectations. Now, let's talk about that. Realistic expectations. We've got two sides of it, don't we? We have our realistic expectations of ourselves, right? Of what we expect, what we want, and then realistic expectations of what we require from the other person, right? That is a huge mouthful. Those are two separate things. So let's separate them a little bit. Let's think about our expectations, right? As we move forward into dating, right? Date the right one. As we move forward into dating and we're looking to meet the right one, we put all these parameters on dating. Well, I want him to be this tall. I want her to be big boobed. I want her to have blonde hair. I want her to do this. I want him to do that. Well, the reality is we're putting these expectations out there that are just sometimes not the right fit. What we really truly want is a quality individual that we can relate to, maybe hopefully each and every day of our lives, right? Someone that we can share experiences with, someone that can not only bring us joy, but enjoy joy, right? We don't talk about enjoying joy. We don't talk about things that make us happy and both sharing that together. And so we put these trivial expectations on not only ourselves but our life and on our other person, right? And that are totally not intact. So I ask you tonight to really think about your core values. Think about what you truly want in an individual, what you're really, really looking for. and make that your expectation. But not only what you're looking for, but what you're willing to give. We march so strongly into a relationship, right? We say, yeah, 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 I want this, this, this. But what the heck are you bringing to the table, right? What are you willing to share? And so often I say as I'm dating in a relationship, I say, and this freaks guys out, I will tell you this, the right one, it will not freak out. But I say to them, I want the most valuable thing you own. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the most valuable thing. Because as I'm moving forward at my age, they're worried about what they're going to lose, right? They're worried about whether, how much money they're going to win. Are they lose? Are they going to have to give up their retirement fund? Are they going to have to spend too much money on me? Are they going to have to take me on trips? Are they going to have to do whatever, whatever? And I don't want any of that. I mean, sure, I'd like to. I'd like to enjoy a wonderful life, right? Alongside them. But what I want is their heart, right? I want their heart. I want to know that they can love, be loved, and give love. And that's what I'm looking for at this time in my life. What are you looking for? Know deep down what it is that you want. Bang, bang, bang. That's what you want. Know what your cores are. Know what your non-negotiable is, right? And understand that. And so as you move forward in dating the right one, meeting the right one, you'll know I've got the right one right in front of me. And then be bold enough, right? We have our new bold network, right? Our Going Bold network. Be bold enough to really go after it and get what you want, know what you want, right? But most of all, hang on to it when you've got the right thing, when you've got the right person in front of you. Hang on to that person, because so often we don't want to do that. So often we're so scared of being able to move forward, scared of what we're going to lose, right? But all that you can gain is tremendously right in front of you. It totally is right in front of you. So I hope that you'll understand that and understand your expectations. Be realistic about them. Be realistic about yourself as an individual, what you can give to someone else, what you can't give to someone else, right? Be realistic as to what you expect of the other person, what they're going to look like or be like, or what the future might very well hold. And those are the things that you want to talk about. Let's take a short break. When we come back, we've got a few more here, and then we've got my bonus one, which I think is very, very important, and something you certainly don't want to miss. So we're talking about the 9 things that will happen when you meet the right one. We are on the Date the Right One show. I am Cece Shatz. I am the Doyenne of relationship building. You guys are talking to yourselves and you're thinking, what the heck is a Doyenne? Well, the Doyenne is a leader in their field. I am the leader in relationship building. I am a divorce, dating, and a life coach. I've been connecting singles throughout our Tampa Bay area for many years, and I hopefully here on our platforms as we're talking. We have the Going Solo Network. Just go to goingsolonetwork.com, and all of our information there to connect singles is there. We have wonderful sponsors, which is goingsolocommunity.com and meettherightone.com. I am affiliated with both of those, and I hope you check them out. I would love for you to join me there on those sites. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the rest of the items that will take you through to whether you've met the right one or not. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that. And then I'm going to give you my bonus one, which is very important, and you don't want to miss the bonus one. So hang around with me and we'll be right back. Hello, welcome back to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. I am Cece Shatz, and you guys are on Date the Right One with WGSN-DB Going Solo Network radio, TV, and podcast. Just so you guys know, we are on Roku, and I'm really excited about that. We're on Amazon TV too. We've got a really terrific following. We hit, I think, what was it, like our second month, third month, or what? We had like 2.5 months or whatever on there, and we hit over 200,000 listeners. So we are excited about that. I want to thank you so much for all of you guys listening to us. We are just so honored to have you. Those of you that don't know me, I am Cece Shatz. I am the Doyenne of relationship building. I am a divorce, dating, and a life coach connecting singles on our Going Solo Network, which is goingsolonetwork.com. Our sponsors tonight are goingsolocommunity.com and meettherightone.com. And what we're talking about, which is a fun topic, and I love it because it's truly upbeat. It's 9 things that will happen when you meet the right one. So at the beginning of the show, we talked about, and don't forget, I've got a bonus one here. So I want to make sure we start moving forward with these probably a little bit faster. But you can spend the time apart and you truly miss each other. You truly want to be together. And that's when you kind of start feeling like, I've met the right one because I really do want to be with them. You also realize that as you're compromising on various different things as you move through the relationship, it doesn't seem like work, right? It's something that you do and you eagerly do it because you're happy to please the other person. You truly want the best for them and you want them to be happy. So, sitting and watching a TV show with them that may not be your cup of tea, you don't mind doing it because you know that it makes them happy and brings them joy. And that then brings you joy. The other thing is really being eager and very happy to share your significant person here with your family and your friends, and really show them that you're really trying to build a relationship with this person, that you're really looking to really have something special with them. And that's very important, that being exclusive, right? That understanding that person is truly special to you. Then also being willing to let them go. If things aren't really working for you, the relationship isn't really going for you, or if the timing isn't quite right, maybe to step back a little bit and give that freedom and that space. And sometimes when you're willing to let them go, you realize, no, I think maybe there is something there, and that I need to hang on tight. I need to make it work. And then also have realistic expectations of not only yourself, but of the person, of the relationship, of really everything that's involved with regards to what our expectations are. Because sometimes our expectations are totally out of field, right? They're totally way out there, and there are expectations. So we want to think about those, reel them back in, and understand, are they truly realistic? Are we being realistic at this time in our lives, expecting what we are wanting here? The other thing, one thing that we hadn't talked about, is that you can talk about anything. Have you ever been with, like a really good friend where you stayed up late at night and you're talking about all kinds of stuff, or you're talking to them and you realize that you're talking for hours, right? About this and that. The person that you truly is the right one, you're going to have that feeling with. You're going to go from one conversation to another conversation to another one. You're going to want to talk to them and be with them and start to really understand the way they think about stuff. And not only are you going to have this free, lively kind of conversation, but you're going to enjoy it, right? You're going to really want to talk to them and listen to them, but you're also going to start shifting your mindset and thinking about the things that might be important to them, or maybe the way they're thinking about things, you're going to start thinking about them a little bit too, and maybe putting a little bit more emphasis on what their thought process is on doing it. It's not meaning that you have to shift any kind of boundaries or anything like that. You don't have to change anything that you thoroughly believe in, but you will start having an open mind to what they're saying, and think to yourself, you know what, maybe they got a point. Maybe I'm not quite looking at all the elements to that's in factor here, and you want to start thinking about those things. So that is a sign that you've met the right one. When that starts happening to you, you can talk about anything, you can share your ideas and your thought process very freely, and someone's not going to make fun of you or hold your foot to the fire, that kind of thing. The other is you're going to help each other grow, right? As you're building a relationship together, you're going to start going at the pace, right? Sometimes when you meet somebody and you kind of like them, you kind of go a little bit. Guys tend to do this. They go a little bit fast. They want to lock them down, get that exclusive, right? They want to make sure she's not out there dating anybody else because he doesn't want to lose her. And above all, when it comes to the sexual part of it, a guy certainly doesn't want her going out there with anybody else. So he wants to lock that down, get that being that exclusive. But the thing is that you want to start slowing it down a little bit, and you want to start growing together, and you want to start experiencing life together. And I've often said to know that a relationship is good for you, you have to go through all seasons, which means really everything that one touches on, right? You got to go through the holidays. You got to go with meeting your family. You got to go with being angry, having a fight. You got to go with making up. You got to go with vacations. I just recently went with my boyfriend. We were 15 hours in the car, and I thought to myself, well, this will make or break us, right? You're stuck in the car with me for 15 hours. And so it's that kind of stuff that you want to start living life, right? You want to start doing those kind of things and start growing together. But not only is it sharing experiences, but it's also starting to shift that mindset that you have. You start realizing that the other person is of value, and their thoughts are of value, and their experiences are of value, and all of those things that happen with the other person. You start really getting into understanding the other person and what makes them tick, and you start really getting on that plane, right? That even plane that really builds a relationship. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that in the bonus part of it. But that's when heck, you met the right one. So it's kind of an exciting feeling, right? As you go through. And another one is that you share the same sense of humor, right? And it doesn't have to be exact, because no two people are exact, but they get you and you get them. And have you ever heard of that? Well, I fell in love with, a guy will say, well, I fell in love with her because she laughs at my jokes, right? A comedian will say that, well, she laughs at my jokes, so yeah, I had to fall in love with her for that. But the reality is that, don't you want to share your life with someone that will say, okay, let's laugh this off a little bit. Let's enjoy each other's company a little bit. Don't you want that? Don't you want someone that in your life that will understand you and get your sense of humor as you go? And all people have different sense of humor, right? Some are sarcastic, some are funny, some are silly, whatever. And so you want that other person to kind of understand that, and you go through life with joyous, right? With a happy face, with a joyous outlook on life. And so that's very important. And then the last thing, and then we'll lead that into the bonus one, is that you both want the relationship to work. How many times have you gone out on a date and you kind of felt like the other party didn't really want it to work, right? That they didn't really put their all into it. And so this is connecting with the bonus one. So number one, you have to say to yourself, when you feel like you've met the right one, and some of these elements that we're talking about, it doesn't have to be all of them, but if some of them are in play, and maybe some others we haven't talked about here that are important to you, if they're in play and you think that you've met the right one, you got to put both feet in, right? You got to say to yourself, I want this to work. Because if you don't say that, if you don't make the effort for that, I can assure you it will not. Your relationship will not work. So you have to say to yourself, I'm going to put everything aside and I'm going to make this relationship work. Now here's the bonus. So you've said to yourself, I'm going to give it my all. I'm going to try to, I really think this person is a quality person, someone that I can totally relate to. I find them funny. We have good times together. We're sharing experiences. All of these elements are starting to come in play. So I'm putting both of my feet in, right? I'm going to say, I'm going to make this relationship work. What do you do from there, right? Here's the bonus. You have to give yourself time and space to make it work. You have to allow the time for a relationship to build. And here's the big one. You have to get your priorities in order. Because so often we let everything else around us get in the way of a relationship, right? We let work get in the way. We let children get in the way. We let all of these other elements of things that are happening within our lives, right? Now, I know kids are important, so I don't want to say they're not important. I'm just saying like little stuff, things get in our lives. But the thing is if we want this relationship to work, we have to give it time, we have to give it energy, and we have to be positive about it. Because if we're not positive about the relationship, if we're not positive about moving forward in a relationship, why are we doing it, right? So if you feel this potential person in your life that you've met could be the right one, 9 chances out of 10 they are, right? And you have to start making things happen, right? So that's my bonus for you, is that if you truly feel like this is the right person for you and that you're ready to step into both feet into a relationship, then give it your all, slow it down, allow things to happen. And each day you will find that as you're spending time with that person, as you're sharing experiences with them, as you're building and building and building a relationship together, you will find that they are the right one. And so I hope that this helped you. I hope that this is something that you can take with you and really move forward in a positive way. So often we think as we're moving through dating, we think about it in such a negative fashion that no wonder nothing ever happens, right? So move forward in a positive way, right? Grasp a hold of what you truly want in life. And if a relationship is it, start building it today. Start moving forward today. Because you might have already met the right one, but you haven't put both feet in. You haven't slowed it down. You haven't started working it. You haven't started building that relationship. You know, all relationships, whether people are married or they're living together or they're dating or they're just meeting, it all takes time and it all starts building. And you have up and downs and waves and things like that that you're going through. But if you truly want it to work, right? If you truly want this in your life, then you have to give of yourself, right? Be willing to give of yourself and be able to move forward in a way that's going to build something for both of you together, right? That's your responsibility. As if you decide that you want a relationship with someone, your responsibility is to build it together, right? Not individually, and don't think one person's going to be doing it more than another person. You're going to be coming together and building it together. So I hope you enjoyed this show. I am Cece Shatz. I'm the Doyenne of relationship building. I love to hear from you. I get emails all the time. My email is goingsolonetwork@gmail.com. I love to get your emails, and I want to thank you so much. If you've written to me, please do make a comment. You can write on here and make a comment if you'd like. I get them, I see them. Our media here is goingsolonetwork.com. And then everything we do for singles is on goingsolonetwork.com. And we've got these wonderful sponsors, which are 2 brand new sites out: Going Solo Community, which is a singles community, and Meet the Right One community for dating. Very unique, very different. If you're looking for a dating, something that you can see, here's the difference with the dating site. And I'm gonna share this with you because I think dating sites are extremely successful. I mean, I truly do. But the problem with them is there's no connection, right? It's hard to connect, and it's hard to really start building a relationship with someone. And so often, maybe individuals that we meet, they're not the right one for us, but they're friends, right? We make friends along the way, and we all need friends, especially when we went through COVID and we felt so alone. Well, if you join something like this, Meet the Right One, the dating site or the Going Solo community, that's what you're going to feel. You're going to feel that connection with another person because they're there just like you are there for all the right reasons. And so as we connect and we grow together as individuals, we grow together as people that are moving forward, we are going to meet the right one. And when we meet them, we're going to help each other to be able to grow enough so that we can continue building a relationship we truly want in our lives, that we have always dreamed of. And so I wish that for you. You guys are listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. I hope you catch us on all the other platforms that we're at. This is a new show that we have, Date the Right One. I love it. It's exciting. It's positive. It's uplifting. And we hope that you guys enjoy it too. I will catch you back here next week. I am Cece Shatz. Catch all my shows, Going Solo with Cece, or this one here, Date the Right One, or all the other ones that I tend to participate in because I love what I do. I wish you all the very best as you move forward in dating. I hope that you do and will meet the right one, but better yet, when you meet them, I hope you get it. I hope you understand that you have met the right one and that along the way, we have helped you to be able to build yourself, and so that you have the knowledge and the tools to be able to continue on building the relationship of your dreams. I love you. Thank you so much for listening. We'll catch you back here next week. Bye for now.